I warned my partner that if he ever touched the steering wheel while I was driving again, I'd leave him stranded. He didn't believe me. A few days prior, he was invited to a gathering at the home of his close work colleague whom he called his work wife. When I asked if I could join as his guest, he refused. His reasoning? Since I don't drink, I'd dampen the atmosphere and earn a reputation as the party pooper among his coworkers. He claimed excluding me was for my own benefit. 6 hours later at 3 a.m., my phone rang, waking me from sleep. It was him, drunk and pleading for a ride home. Groggy, I asked what happened to the cash I'd given him for a cab. Turns out his work wife, let's call her Sarah, was hungry, so he treated her to a lavish meal at a pizza joint. Not just a slice. He bought her a massive pizza, 3 side dishes, a dessert, and a drink. Shocked but prioritizing his safety, I got in my car and drove 45 minutes to Sarah's place. When I arrived, I called him, but he didn't pick up. It took 7 tries before he finally answered, stumbling into the car with an apology. Apparently, Sarah had lost a bracelet, and he was helping her search for it. I brushed it off and started driving, but barely a minute in, he began yelling about how amazing the party was. He laughed, saying, "Sarah did this hilarious impression of you, you should have seen it." Then, in a drunken burst of laughter, he grabbed the steering wheel. Exhausted and irritated, I yanked his hand away and pulled over. I told him firmly that I wasn't in the mood for his nonsense and warned him again. Touch the wheel one more time and I'd leave him to walk back to Sarah's. He chuckled, mocking me with, "Sarah says you're all talk. That's why you've got such a big mouth. You'd never do it. You love me too much." I started driving again, but within 2 minutes he grabbed the wheel again, this time yanking it hard. The car swerved, skidded, hit a curb and crashed into a large shrub. I screamed in panic, and only when we were lodged in the bush did he let go, laughing hysterically and mimicking me. "Don't do it again, don't do it again. This is why you're no fun." Thankfully, the car only had minor scratches and I managed to back out. Furious, I told him to get out or I was driving home alone. He stared at me, assuming I was bluffing. I wasn't. I told him in all seriousness that if he didn't leave the car, our relationship was done. He accused me of overreacting, claiming he wouldn't exit unless I forced him. Unsure of what to do, I tricked him by saying I thought the tire was flat and asked him to grab the spare from the trunk, sweetening the deal with a suggestive promise. The moment he stepped out, I hit the gas and drove off. I got home 30 minutes later and cried for hours. 8 hours after that, he showed up at my door, soaked and muddy, claiming he didn't remember anything from the night before. He asked why my car was scratched. I'm torn about forgiving him. At my kitchen table, still in his filthy clothes, he kept pressing for details about the previous night. I recounted everything, picking him up from Sarah's, his 2 attempts to grab the wheel, the crash into the shrub, and his mocking laughter. His expression shifted as memories surfaced, and he grew silent. Then, suddenly, he slammed his fist on the table. He insisted I was wrong to abandon him on the road, ranting about how dangerous it was and how anything could have happened to him. I reminded him that he endangered us both by grabbing the wheel, despite my clear warnings. He refused to listen, pacing my kitchen and declaring that a true partner wouldn't leave their boyfriend stranded, no matter what. Then he brought up Sarah, saying she'd never do such a thing to her partner. That set me off. After everything, his refusal to let me attend the party, spending my cab money on Sarah's feast, and now this comparison. I kept my cool and pointed out that a real partner wouldn't risk their girlfriend's life by grabbing the wheel, especially after being asked not to. I also mentioned how he excluded me from the party for not drinking and used my money to pamper Sarah. He got defensive, accusing me of digging up irrelevant details to vilify him. According to him, the wheel grabbing was just a prank I blew out of proportion. He called me dramatic, saying the shrub incident wasn't a big deal. Exhausted, I told him his behavior was unacceptable, drunk or sober. I brought up how he mocked me with Sarah's words right before the second wheel grab, and how terrified I was during the crash. He tried to interrupt, but I pressed on, emphasizing how his laughter showed he didn't care about my safety. He stormed out, saying I needed to decide if I could handle his sense of humor or if our relationship was worth continuing. He slammed the door behind him. I didn't stop him. Honestly, I felt relieved when he left. The morning only deepened my doubts about us. Part of me considered forgiving him since he was drunk and claimed not to remember. But the memory of my fear in the car, his laughter, and his disregard for my safety kept replaying. His choice to prioritize Sarah's comfort, using my money for her meal, making me drive 45 minutes at 3 a.m., and now, even sober, refusing to own his actions. Made me question everything. His increasingly angry texts, accusing me of overreacting, only solidified my thoughts. Maybe this relationship isn't worth saving. Update 1. It's been a week since our fight. My boyfriend has been stopping by every few days to pick up his belongings, always when I'm home from work. He barely speaks, just grabs clothes or his gaming gear, saying he's staying at his friend Tom's place until he sorts things out. I avoided social media to clear my head, but yesterday, I saw his post online. It was a long, dramatic tale about how his girlfriend of 2 years cruelly left him stranded on a dark road. He described walking for hours in the cold, ignored by passing cars, and even claimed a stray dog chased him, a detail he never mentioned when he showed up at my door. The comments were brutal. Strangers called me heartless and abusive, some suggesting he sue me for abandonment. Sarah's comments were the worst. She wrote multiple paragraphs, claiming she always saw warning signs in me, accusing me of controlling his work life and even what he wore, complete lies. Her stories painted me as a possessive, unstable partner who finally snapped. Not once did his post mention his drunkenness, grabbing the wheel twice, causing the crash, or laughing at my fear. He left out spending my cab money on Sarah's meal, making me drive to pick him up, and mocking me with her words. Furious, I called him, but it went to voicemail. After several tries and a long text demanding he tell the full story, he didn't respond. Frustrated, I called Tom to ask him to urge my boyfriend to correct the post. That's when things got worse. Tom was baffled, saying he hadn't seen my boyfriend in weeks, not since their last gaming session. He confirmed my boyfriend was never staying with him. My heart sank. All those visits to pick up his stuff, all the casual mentions of Tom's place, they were lies. I called my boyfriend repeatedly, leaving voicemails ranging from angry to worried. Where was he staying? Why lie? Looking back, his visits were too calculated. He was always clean and composed, not like someone crashing on a friend's couch. Sarah's comments on his post, her fierce defense, her jab about him deserving someone who gets him, started to add up. The pieces fell into place, excluding me from the party, spending my money on her, lying about Tom. He was likely staying with her the whole time. I feel foolish for missing the signs. His post is still up, gaining more sympathy while I'm vilified. This drama might be a wake-up call, showing me who he really is. Update 2. After days of his deceitful post and vicious comments, I'd had enough of being the bad guy. A week ago, I wrote my own detailed account, laying out every fact he omitted. I started with his refusal to let me attend the party because I don't drink, claiming I'd ruin the vibe. I described how he spent my cab money on Sarah's extravagant meal: pizza, sides, dessert, drinks. I explained the 3 a.m., 45-minute drive to pick him up and waiting while he helped Sarah find her lost bracelet. Then I detailed his drunken behavior, mocking me with Sarah's words, grabbing the wheel twice, causing the crash, and laughing as I panicked. I clarified that I only left him after he endangered us and refused to get out. Finally, I revealed his lie about staying at Tom's. The response was overwhelming. People shared my post, calling out his manipulation for omitting the wheel grabbing and crash. Many shared their own stories of reckless partners, affirming I did the right thing. Commenters questioned Sarah's obsessive remarks, especially since I wasn't even allowed at the party. Some noted their suspiciously close work-friend dynamic. Last night, my boyfriend called, furious, demanding I delete my post. He said it was ruining his reputation at work. He still insisted I was wrong to leave him, regardless of his actions. I let him vent, then calmly asked where he'd been staying. He stumbled, claiming he was crashing at various friends' places to avoid burdening anyone. I cut him off, saying Tom hadn't seen him in weeks. Silence. Then I heard rustling and Sarah's voice in the background. Suddenly, she was on the phone, her tone falsely sweet, admitting he'd been staying with her. She claimed she was just being a good friend after I abandoned him, and I should be ashamed. I snapped, calling her out for meddling from the start, encouraging him to exclude me, spending my money, spreading lies online, and now hiding him while he lied about Tom. She dropped the act, yelling that I was jealous of their special bond. She said he found me boring and needed someone fun like her, not someone who couldn't handle a playful wheel grab. The call cut off abruptly. I tried calling back, but it went to voicemail. Fuming, I looked around my apartment, seeing his stuff everywhere: gaming gear, clothes, his favorite mug. I grabbed trash bags and packed it all. His consoles, books, clothes, even the matching keychains from our first trip. I dragged everything to the dumpster and texted him, Your stuff's by the dumpster. Pickups tomorrow at 8 a.m. After that, it's not my problem. I'm still shaking, realizing he was likely at Sarah's every time he left my place, probably laughing at how I believed his lies. But I don't regret leaving him that night. Knowing he went to her only confirms I made the right choice. I'm done with their games. Update 3. It's been 3 months since I tossed his things, and I wasn't planning to update again, but yesterday brought news worth sharing for closure. Tom called during work, texting that it was urgent. When I called back, he said my ex and Sarah were in a serious car accident and are in the ICU. Apparently, they were at another party, and despite being heavily intoxicated, my ex drove because Sarah dared him. They crashed into a highway guardrail at high speed, totaling the car. To backtrack, the morning after I left his stuff by the dumpster, he and Sarah showed up at 7 a.m. in her blue sedan to collect everything. I watched from my window as she touched his shoulder, glaring at me when she noticed me looking. They took every bag, including the one with our keychains. That was the last I saw of them. I went no contact, blocking them on all platforms and changing my routines. New gym, new grocery store for a fresh start. These past 3 months have been liberating. I got a promotion to team leader, started pottery classes, something he called a waste, and adopted a fluffy gray cat who loves napping on my laptop. My life is calm and fulfilling. So when Tom shared the accident news, how they had to be cut from the wreckage, both unconscious with severe injuries, I felt strangely detached. He asked if I'd visit them in the hospital. I laughed, asking why I'd visit someone who risked my life, lied about his whereabouts, let Sarah smear me online, and vanished after 2 years together. Or the woman who fueled his worst impulses. Tom tried guilting me, but I listed my plans: pottery class, a work celebration, furniture shopping with my mom. My life doesn't pause for their consequences. The parallels are stark. Both times he was drunk and reckless on the road. But this time, Sarah was with him, not me. The same Sarah who called me dull for not drinking, who said wheel grabbing was a joke, who claimed their connection was special. I wonder if she still finds his antics funny now that they're both in critical condition. Part of me wants to resurface their old posts vilifying me, to point out that leaving him might have saved my life. But I won't. I'm done with their story. This update is for anyone doubting their boundaries or feeling guilty for prioritizing safety. You're not wrong for choosing yourself. My cat's purring beside me as I write, and soon I'll head to pottery where I'm mastering the wheel. Tomorrow I'm meeting about my team's expansion. Next week I'm apartment hunting in a nicer area. This is my life now and I'm at peace. I won't visit them, send cards, or check their status. They made their choices just as I made mine. The difference? Mine let me sleep soundly.